Hello, Western Heights family. It's Wednesday, and it's time for the Wednesday Minister Moment. I would imagine that over the last couple of weeks, you made a choice. That you went out and you voted. You chose the candidate that you wanted to have as president. Now, it's the day after the election, and we're all waiting. We're waiting for the votes to be counted. We may know who our next president is in the next few hours, or it could be in the next few days, or it could be the next few weeks. And whatever happens, there's sure to be allegations thrown back and forth. There may be name calling, there'll be lawsuits, and there'll be a lot of anxiety and stress. In fact, there's already been a lot of anxiety and stress through 2020. It's been a roller coaster of a year with all kinds of crazy things that have happened. So the fact that the election is so close and that there might be lawsuits and all those things, why should that surprise us? It's just kind of what we're getting used to now, isn't it? You know, we've mentioned these ideas of anxiety and stress before in our minister moments. And it seems like through the election process, through the day of the election and what might follow, that those things, the anxiety and stress may just get ramped up within us. And that could create problems, obviously. There's a lot of people who are judging others in various ways. I was reading an editorial in the Christian Chronicle that I got yesterday on the editorial page, and I want to just read the title of this editorial and the first few paragraphs. I'm not going to go into all of it, but the title is "Voting is Important, but Don't Forget Who is King." And it says this: both letters arrived on the same day, each full of indignation. The first criticized the Christian Chronicle's October front page story that offered tips for Christians to engage in respectful dialogue about politics, even when believers disagree strongly on the issues and the candidates. No Christian can possibly vote for a party or a politician that supports abortion, one reader said, contending that a vote for anyone except President Donald Trump was a sin. The second reader took the opposite viewpoint, claiming that Vice President Joe Biden is the only choice, and only a racist bigot would vote for the incumbent. Those angry readers offered flip sides of the same coin. The idea that a true disciple of Christ must pick a specific side in a worldly partisan election or risk the wrath of God. The editor disagreed with the opinions of those two letters. Think about that. Have you ever heard statements like that before? Maybe you've made them. Do you really have a right to condemn somebody because they didn't vote the way you did? Is that what Jesus would have done? Is that what he calls you to do as a follower of Christ? If we paint Jesus into a box where he has to be either Republican or Democrat and his followers have to do the same, then aren't we limiting God? Because isn't he more than that? Aren't we limiting one another? You are a citizen of the United States. So am I. We have a right to vote how we want to. We even have a right to protest if we don't win. If the candidate we choose doesn't win, people will likely protest, and you have every right to protest as a U.S. citizen. As a U.S. citizen, you have every right to give whatever opinion you want, to say whatever you want about somebody as long as you're not lying about them, defaming them. But as a Christian, you don't have that right. You see, the reality is that you and I are citizens of heaven. That's what Paul tells us in Philippians chapter 3, that we are citizens of heaven. And that citizenship is more important than our U.S. citizenship. If you claim to follow Christ, then we need to treat others the way that Jesus would have treated them, with grace and mercy and love, forgiveness, and truth. We need to speak the truth as well. But God calls us to something better than what our political system calls us to. So you have a choice. You have another choice to make. How are you going to react? Adam talked about this a little bit in his minister moment. He talked about choosing peace. How are you going to choose to react no matter who wins? How are you going to choose to treat others? Are you going to choose to judge? Or are you going to be gracious? Remember, God calls you to something better. If you truly follow Jesus, I want you to understand something. You don't have to fear. You don't have to be anxious. Because Jesus is King, and He's got this. As Allstate says, you're in good hands with Allstate. No, you're really in good hands with Jesus. My encouragement to you is, take a deep breath. Relax. Trust in Jesus, who is your true Savior. Follow Him in the way you treat others. And know that He's got this. I hope this is an encouragement to you, and I hope you have a great week.